Dr. E.O. Wilson is one of the pioneers of environmental science, and his book Consilience is about the unification of science and the unification of science with all other fields of study. This is an academic book about the prospects for a study of everything in the world. This would be a new educational renaissance that would make education a lot easier by unifying the concepts of every field of study. We also need it to see how human behavior is causing the environmental crisis. The Origins Conference at Arizona State University in April of '09 was held in honor of Charles Darwin's 200th birthday and the 150th anniversary of the publication of The Origin of Species. The conference speakers kept talking about the importance of political decisions being made based on evidence, and the audience practically gave them a standing ovation every time they said that. Because that was just 2.5 months after the end of the Bush administration and his 8 years of total disregard for science. Lots of other people have been saying that political decisions should be made based on evidence. People like the protesters at the Democratic National Convention in Denver, and the protesters at the Republican National Convention in St. Paul, and the protesters at the G20 meeting in London, and the protesters at the World Bank meeting in Washington, D.C., and the protesters at the G20 meeting in Pittsburgh. Someone at the Origins Conference called the conference scientific shock and awe. I understand the concept, but with all due respect, 70 scientists having a meeting is not shock and awe, even if it is broadcast on the internet. Shock and awe requires a sufficient number of people to be sufficiently trained and sufficiently equipped to direct overwhelming force toward the achievement of an objective. You force the enemy to understand you have defeated him by forcing him to understand that you have eliminated every single asset that he could use to fight. The Nazis weren't defeated because my grandfather designed bombers. The Nazis were defeated because people also flew the bombers. And of course, because someone trained the pilots. So fasten your seatbelts, because this is scientific shock and awe, straight from the front lines.